Coach, as always, first and foremost, congratulations, not just on the win, but on the way the guys played today. It seemed like there was just a selfless spirit permeating through the group today, and just wanted to get your thoughts on the ball movement and just the flow of the game tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the best games we've played relative to our spirit. I wasn't able to watch the football game. In 2 sentences or less, Burnham, can you give me a summary?
They played really, really well. Set the tone. It was 31-6 at the half, and kind of like you guys did today. You got on them early and never looked back.
You know, I've read everything. I've paid attention to everything, studied everything. What an incredible, incredible accomplishment by Coach Fuente, those kids, the staff, the people whose names are not in the media guide, to have been backed up into a corner. And in my opinion, the response of us was phenomenal. To beat Virginia the way they beat Virginia, first to the floor, first to the grass, to end it the way they did, keep that streak alive. And then this will be their 26th game. Virginia Tech's 26. I have not been coaching 26 years. And you think of all of the people, coaches, players that have contributed to that, and for these kids to be able to keep that going, I know we played good and I'm happy, but I think there's so many lessons, and I don't think that all of the outside people that say they supported Virginia Tech were as supportive as they should, and I paid attention to that. I don't want to get on my horse because I'm happy that we won. Never forget that they're kids, and never forget that what they do and the shoes they walk in is probably harder than normal fan thinks. And sometimes we probably should be more grateful for the success that the Hokies, specific to football, have been a part of. Isn't it the longest in the country?
Country, yeah. Florida
Like, we
State
ought to
lost,
stand up and down and jump up and down and do backflips 26 years in a row.
The Alabama doesn't have it.
Like, come on. Like, we need to be talking about that.
Well, let's
I
talk
think
about
that's
it.
unbelievable.
Ryan Willis threw 4 touchdown passes today. That's pretty good.
And not being mean, he was not scheduled to start. Is that correct?
Correct.
And wasn't he a transfer that
Kansas.
initially paid his way to come here?
From Kansas.
And how about his response at 2:26 left to go in the fourth quarter against Virginia when he throws the interception, and I'm watching him go off the field, and you couldn't tell from his body language if he just threw a touchdown or if he threw an interception. And I believe that sort of thing is why the streak is still alive. And I don't even know the kid, but whoever his parents are, they raised him right. That is unbelievable.
Absolutely would echo that about Ryan Willis. Hokies are victorious 41-20 earlier today on the gridiron, and men's basketball follows that up with a 94-40 victory. And, Coach, everything that you said I would echo about the football program, and certainly congrats to them. But for your guys today, some of the things that you were just saying about football are true of your guys in terms of the cathartic response today. And, I thought you could just see it in their facial expressions, in their body language. You checked a lot of boxes in terms of getting back pointed in the right direction today, didn't you?
Yeah, we were not tough enough, bottom line, to win at Penn State. We turned the ball over way too much. 5 was not 5. Nikhil was average. Ahmed is the same over and over and over. And today, the reason he scored 24 points is if he scored 9 baskets, I would say 8 of the 9 baskets were assisted. Ahmed and Ty's game are very similar to an extent of when 5 forces rotation, when Kill forces rotation, when Beatty forces rotation, at the moment in time that there's 2 guys on the ball, at that moment, Ty and Med's game is the exact same. We can't absorb Med going 0-4-6 at Penn State and put all of it on Ahmed. It is on Med, but it's on the Hokies. And the reason that we had 77% of our baskets assisted is because the guys that we need forcing help were forcing help. And I think the other thing that we learned, and that's why we started that grouping, when that ball was moving through KJ at the top, KJ had 5 assists. That may be a career high for him because he has such great instincts regardless of where he's at. And I think to an extent that helped us.
You had to look at these numbers. 9 more field goal attempts, 28 assists on the 36 field goals, only 9 turnovers, forcing 17. I mean, it was just exquisite. And a lot of times they have a tendency maybe to not put the pedal to the metal in the second half. You only gave up 17 points.
You know, all of those, like, paranoid coaches, you know, all day on game day, you know, I just write all kinds of stuff. And I just kept reading my notes to them during the timeout, which was that's the stuff that I put on what we call the whiteboard before the game. And I just kept reading it over and over and over, and I kept telling them, I'm leaving Castle after my shower, and I'm going to have nothing but good thoughts. And if you guys go away from these notes, I'm immediately taking you out of the game.
Coach Buzz Williams is with us. Hokies 94, Blue Devils 40. And, Coach, you touched on it there talking about Kerry Blackshear, but it really seemed like, particularly without Robinson starting the game, he was the tone setter, not just because he was scoring, but the offense, like you said, really funneled through him today.
And then when we got back to some of our core guys, you know, like I guess it would have been when I talked to you guys the day before we played Ball State, subbing Beatty into that group and how Ty handled that, and we went midgets. And then now subbing those guys in and, in essence, playing as big as we could. Got to be aware of how to utilize the minutes in the right way and have to continue to use this month to figure out the right groupings. And when KJ is not in foul trouble, that allows us to figure out, hey, can we buy 7 minutes with KJ and PJ together? Can we get KJ then to the 5 and Ty at the 4? We're not going to be able to play exclusively med at the 4 and play midget ball the whole time. But if we can continue to figure out personnel groupings and figure out the play catalog specific to that group, I think that just potentially opens up more opportunities for us.
You had to love the way this thing started, though. You look, PJ gets a loose ball, and first to the floor is J-Rob, and then Beatty gets an offensive rebound, and Med took a charge. I mean, that did kind of set the tone, didn't it?
It's just the spirit. It's just the spirit. And I think that our spirit is evident even if you don't really know anything about ball. It's the same thing we were talking about with the football team relative to what they've been through this season and how they've responded. Game number 1, didn't they beat Florida State at Florida State?
They did.
Both teams were ranked. And I remember watching the game because it was on Labor Day, wasn't it?
Yes.
Monday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm watching the stadium, and it literally – I've never been to a football game at Florida State. It looked like the bleachers were moving. It was so crazy. And then it seems like the next Saturday, is that when we lost to ODU?
No, it was
William and Mary.
It was William and Mary and then ODU, or it was William and Mary and then East Carolina's non-AD, non-president made that decision, and then it was ODU.
Then it was ODU.
Man, what about the roller coaster of that, and then to be able on the last opportunity of the year to keep both streaks alive, man, that's just that's spirit. And I think how we played today, the spirit was evident, and I think that it was evident regardless of the opponent and regardless of the score from beginning to end.
Coach, I think that's a phenomenal way to encapsulate the entire day here in Blacksburg. So let's end there.
Man, what a great day. Every day's Thanksgiving if you're living the right way.
Without
Absolutely.
question.
Thank you.
Blacksburg feeling the right way today as football starts it, basketball caps it. We thank head coach Buzz Williams.